My upbringing was a stark contrast to my sister, Jessica's, 26F. From as far back as I can remember, she was the golden child. The center of my parents, Maria, 50SF, and Michael, 50SM, universe. Jessica was always sensitive, creative, needing more support. While I was working part-time jobs through high school and college, juggling studies and bills, Jessica bounced between community college courses she rarely finished and various part-time jobs she quickly quit. Yet, she received constant financial and emotional support from our parents. They paid for her rent, her car, her endless hobbies, her gap years that turned into gap decades. My achievements, my promotions, my hard-earned successes were often met with a perfunctory nod, quickly overshadowed by Jessica's latest drama or perceived need. If I got a raise, it was often followed by a request for a loan for Jessica. If I bought something nice for myself, it was met with, "Oh, that's nice, Daniel. Jessica really needs a new car, though." I internalized feelings of inadequacy, always striving for their approval, always falling short. I felt like I was constantly trying to earn love that was freely given to my sister, simply for existing. My best friend, Kevin, 30M, a contract lawyer who had seen our family dynamics up close, often pointed it out. "Dude," he'd say, "they treat you like the responsible adult who's there to clean up their messes, and Jessica like a fragile princess who needs constant pampering. She gets all the attention, all the support, all the excuses. You get the expectations and the bills." His words stung, but they were true. Jessica's life took a dramatic turn about a year and a half ago. She started dating Brandon, a guy she met through one of her short-lived jobs. Brandon was wealthy. Old money. Suddenly, Jessica wasn't just the golden child, she was the diamond-encrusted golden child. Her social media, which used to be a mix of selfies and poorly lit jewelry, transformed overnight. Lavish dinners, designer clothes, exotic vacations, all funded by Brandon. She flaunted her new life, posting endless pictures of herself living a life of luxury. My parents were ecstatic. Jessica has finally found her prince. Brandon is such a catch. Family gatherings became centered around Jessica and Brandon, their plans, their travels, their future. My accomplishments, my promotions, my very presence, went unnoticed. I felt more invisible than ever. The final straw came at a family dinner, about 10 months ago. Jessica announced her engagement to Brandon. She held up her hand, a massive, glittering engagement ring blinding us all. My parents burst into tears, hugging her, congratulating her effusively. My mother, Maria, kept exclaiming, "My little girl is finally getting her fairy tale." The entire evening revolved around the ring, the wedding plans, Brandon's family connections. My hard-earned promotion, which I had just received and was hoping to share, was quickly forgotten, dismissed with a wave of my dad Michael's hand. "That's nice, Daniel. But did you see Jessica's ring?" This moment solidified my feelings of exclusion. I was not just invisible, I was actively erased in the face of her perceived triumph. I knew, then, that something had to change. A few weeks later, I started seeing photos pop up on social media. Jessica's engagement party. It was lavish. Professional photographers, a huge venue, hundreds of guests. And as I scrolled through the perfectly curated pictures, a cold anger settled in my stomach. I wasn't there. I hadn't been invited. My own sister's engagement party, and I was deliberately excluded. I called my mother, Maria. My voice was calm, but firm. "Mom, I saw the pictures from Jessica's engagement party. Why wasn't I invited?" Her response was immediate, defensive, and utterly dismissive. "Oh, Daniel. We didn't want your negative energy ruining Jessica's special day. She's so happy, and you're always so serious. We wanted it to be perfect for her." Negative energy. That phrase, on top of burden, stung like acid. After all I had done, all I had endured, I was negative energy. It was a wake-up call. A final, undeniable confirmation that I was not truly valued, not truly loved, but merely tolerated, and then discarded when inconvenient. A profound sense of clarity washed over me. I took a deep breath. "Then you won't mind missing my wedding," I said, my voice steady, devoid of emotion. There was a stunned silence on the other end of the line. "What did you say, Daniel?" Maria asked, her voice sharp. "You heard me," I replied. "If my energy is too negative for Jessica's celebration, then your presence won't be welcome at mine. Don't worry. You won't ruin it. And I hung up. That confrontation marked a pivotal moment in my life. I had finally asserted myself. I had drawn a line in the sand. I was done being their doormat. In the months that followed, I focused on myself. I poured my energy into work, into my hobbies, into building a life that truly reflected my values. I started dating again, cautiously. That's when I met Sarah, 30F. She was a confident, brilliant marketing director. She was independent, driven, and incredibly kind. She valued hard work, honesty, and mutual respect. There was no drama, no games, no hidden agendas. She saw me, not my bank account or my family's expectations. Our relationship blossomed, built on a foundation of genuine connection and unwavering support. Together, we planned our wedding. It wasn't a lavish, showy affair like Jessica's was shaping up to be. It was a beautiful, intimate ceremony at a quaint vineyard, surrounded by about 70 of our closest friends and family, people who truly loved and supported us. This decision was a stark contrast to the way Jessica had been celebrated, and it empowered me to take control of my own narrative, to celebrate my love on my own terms. My wedding day, 6 months ago, was everything I had ever dreamed of, and more. It was a celebration of love, happiness, and genuine connection. Sarah looked breathtaking. Our vows were heartfelt. Our friends and family cheered, laughed, and cried with us. There was no tension, no drama, no underlying resentment. It was pure joy. As I stood there, looking at Sarah, surrounded by people who truly cared, I felt an immense sense of peace. My parents, Jessica, and Brandon were conspicuously absent, of course. But their absence didn't diminish the day, it enhanced it. It was a stark reminder of what they had missed out on by excluding me, by choosing favoritism over family. During the reception, my brother, Kevin, who had always been my quiet supporter, handed me a small, sealed envelope. "From Mom," he whispered, looking uncomfortable. I opened it later. It was a short note from Maria. "Daniel, I saw the pictures from your wedding. It looked beautiful. I regret not being there. I hope you're happy." A flicker of something, regret? Remorse? But I chose not to dwell on it. I was happy. Truly happy. I folded the note and put it away, choosing to focus on my new life, my beautiful wife, and the genuine love that surrounded me. While Sarah and I were enjoying our honeymoon, completely disconnected from the world, Jessica's perfectly curated life began to unravel. I heard bits and pieces from Kevin, who was still loosely in contact with them. Brandon, who had initially seemed perfect, quickly started to see the cracks in Jessica's character. Her entitlement, her demanding nature, her inability to manage money, her constant need for validation, all the things I had quietly endured for years. He had been charmed by the facade, but living with the reality was different. About 2 months after my wedding, Kevin called me. "Dude," he said, "you're not going to believe this. Brandon ended the engagement. He found out she's been blowing through his money like crazy, and he just couldn't take the drama anymore. He broke up with her, and he's cut her off completely." Jessica, who had been living a life of luxury and expecting to marry into even more, was suddenly left to face the consequences of her actions. No more Brandon. No more endless money. No more fairy tale. She was left with a mountain of debt from her lavish spending, no job, and no prospects. Karma, it seemed, was swift and brutal. Months later, I received a call from my father, Michael. His voice was strained, hesitant. "Daniel," he began, "your mother, she needs surgery. It's serious. And, we're struggling financially. We don't know what to do." The irony was not lost on me. The family that had overlooked me, dismissed me, called me negative energy, now needed my help. The family that had systematically exploited my success for years was now facing ruin without my financial safety net. My parents were facing foreclosure, Jessica was jobless and living back at home, and Mark was still struggling with his gambling. They had nowhere else to turn. This moment presented me with an opportunity. Not for revenge, not for gloating, but to redefine my relationship with my family. To finally set the boundaries I should have set years ago. I listened to my father's plea. I felt a flicker of the old pain, the old resentment. But it was quickly replaced by a calm, resolute determination. Dad, I said, my voice firm, I will help with Mom's medical bills. But there are conditions. He sounded surprised. Conditions? Daniel, your mother is sick. Yes, I replied, and I care about her. But this isn't just about the surgery. This is about years of financial irresponsibility, of taking advantage, of treating me like an ATM. So, here are my conditions. Jessica needs to find a full-time job. A real one. And she needs to contribute financially to the household. No more entrepreneur delusions. You and Mom need to acknowledge, openly and honestly, how you treated me. The favoritism, the dismissiveness, the financial exploitation. You need to apologize, genuinely. We will establish clear financial boundaries moving forward. No more loans. No more bailing out. You will live within your means. Everyone in this family will treat each other with respect, equally. No more golden child nonsense. There was a long silence on the other end. Daniel, my father finally said, his voice quiet, that's a lot. It's what it takes, Dad, I replied. Otherwise, I can't help. I won't enable this anymore. To my surprise, and after much deliberation on their part, they agreed. It wasn't immediate, and there were more difficult conversations. But the desperation of their situation, coupled with my unwavering resolve, finally broke through their denial. My parents, for the first time in my life, offered genuine, heartfelt apologies. They admitted their favoritism, their mistakes, their regret for how they had treated me. Jessica, humbled by her own downfall, also apologized, tearfully acknowledging her entitlement and her reliance on me. Jessica found a full-time job, starting from the bottom, and began contributing to the family. She started learning the value of hard work and responsibility. My parents began therapy, individually and as a couple, to address their dysfunctional patterns. My relationship with my family transformed. It wasn't perfect, and the scars remain, but it became one of mutual respect, honesty, and genuine connection. We started having real conversations, addressing past hurts, building a new foundation. Today, I am happier and more at peace than I have ever been. My marriage to Sarah is strong, built on unwavering trust and mutual respect. My relationship with my family, while still a work in progress, is finally healthy. Since you made it to the end, you obviously enjoyed the video, so please subscribe, comment your thoughts on this situation and leave a like.